So drawing this line, I've drawn it now in black, okay, and so now I can right click this tool and choose the default settings for it. So I can now go and change it to be red, for example, and then I can say okay. Now every line I draw from now on is going to be in red. Let's do, otherwise if I've got nothing selected, I think if I go blue now it's going to be in blue, okay? And really what you're doing by clicking this is you're changing the default properties of the tool. So there's a whole bunch of different settings that you can have in these dialogues. Once I click the 3D option here, it's probably trying to load the ACIS engine.
Yeah, that's a new feature, I guess you'd call it, of ACIS, is it does take a second to come up.
Yeah, well, I think what they're trying to do is the people who don't need to use ACIS don't need the engine loaded, so they keep it out of the memory.
Correct.
And then the moment you click something that requires it, then it loads it, and that's why there's that little delay.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay, and so that only happens the first time you use a 3D tool. After that, it should be in memory, if you've got enough memory.
Gotcha.
So each tool we have has got certain properties, and as you'll see later when we get onto arcs or dimensions, and you right click a dimension tool, so it's got a set of its own properties that are unique only to dimensions. Or if you go to the text tool and you right click the text tool, it's got a set of properties that are unique to text entities. But in the line tool, just the one we've been looking at, the color specifically, it's got this is pretty much the basic stuff of what entities that you have. There is one type of entity which has only got 3 things here. It's called a viewport or a group or a block. And then it doesn't have these other settings.
Yeah, I think getting to the properties, so you can either right click on it. Another user trick is to just use your select tool and double click on an object. That'll bring that object's properties up automatically. And you'll also notice that in this properties dialog box, these are the same fields. Originally when we talked about selecting an object and going to selection info, those are going to be the same fields there as well.
It's important to know that though if you're double clicking an object, you're not changing the default properties of the tool. All you're doing is you're changing that specific object. When I right-click this tool here, I was changing the default properties of the tool. When I double-clicked this guy and went into its properties, I was changing the properties of that specific line. Okay, and if I was to go back to the line tool and keep drawing, you'd see I'm still in the default color. I'm not in the color that I changed of the selected entity. So you can change objects that you're about to draw by right-clicking over here, or you can change the color of objects that already exist by selecting them and then selecting the specific color. Okay?
Excellent.